the stab here just shows you that it's a climax. It's the biggest climax in the piece, and this is what is happening. But also the ending, how it ends. I could have either let it fade out, but I decided to just have it as a big stop, as it just made it feel better. It just gave closure to the piece basically, and said this is the end. This is that's it. The texture of the piece. There's a lot of counterpoint melodies in this. There's a lot of melodies contradicting each other. There's also a lot of monophonic melodies where they're on their own. There's nothing else, just the melody on its own. But there's also some homophonic as well. There's where you have accompaniment and then you have the melody. So you have both, but it's very like minimal. But then we have polyphonic as well, where we have loads of melodies contradicting each other, not just one or two. There's about a few. So in this piece, throughout the piece, there is that texture is shown. The varies of texture is shown. So for example, a homophonic texture. So here we have a homophonic texture, as we have the melody, but also instead of having the melody, we have a drone note, and we have underneath it we have a sustain chord underneath it. So yeah, which is this here. So instead of just having the melody, we have a sustained note underneath it, and we have some other little things there. So yeah, that shows a homophonic polyphonic texture. So yeah, so the texture varies throughout. There is some simple monophony, but there's then some complex and more counterpoint melodies and polyphonic texture. Throughout there's trills. There's a lot of things that the violins and the cellos do. The way they're played, we have some pizzicato, pluck strings. We have some very long and legato notes that hold on, that transition lovely into the next section. But we also have some pizzicato, nice and quick and short notes, which literally are there just to help move the piece along, really. So when there's a section that's kind of dragging a bit, it literally just picks the pace up a bit and just says we're moving on, and it moves the section on really nicely. And yeah, and finally, there's a few things that I would like to have done differently, or things that I weren't happy with, and that's such as the flute section. There's maybe a flute that I'm not so comfortable with, or I don't like the sound of, but I couldn't get the right sound for it, such as maybe this one. I'm not such a fan on it, but I couldn't find any others that really suited that sound that I wanted. But yeah, other than that, that is B5. Brief 1 for Brief 5.